invented everything. Yeah, thank God I'm black. Thank God I'm black. Thank God I'm black.
What's going on, everybody? This is the Boot Brother Podcast, and we are Unapologetically Black Podcast about life and business. My name is Sean Item with my co-host, my dog, Jason the King.
Yes, sir.
And we have a special guest today by the name of Brother Leon. You say it Richard or Richard? In Louisiana, we say Richard. But I don't want to mess up your name.
Yeah, it's Richard, but if I need to get like reservation to a fancy restaurant or something, I say Richard. You know
I bet.
Yeah.
Well, we have our guest on today by the name of Leon Richard. He's a good brother. Has a very amazing story when it comes to just overcoming a lot of trials, and now he is on the other side of that, helping other people through his coaching program and his coaching ministry do the exact same thing and have those type of transformations in their life. How you doing, Brother Leon? What's up with you, man?
Oh, I'm blessed, my brother. I am blessed. I appreciate you brothers for having me. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
I'm humble. I'm definitely humble.
Yes,
yeah.
indeed.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, man. You're originally from California, correct?
Originally from California, Los Angeles, California.
West Side?
Yeah, West Side. You know what I'm saying? Even though I stay far from the streets, you know what I'm saying? But oldest child. I have two siblings. Pretty much good household with single mom household. You know what I'm saying? She had a lot of parties, so I was exposed to, you know, a lot of things, drinking and fun and partying. You know, like it was all good fun back then. You know, I was in a typical lifestyle. Yeah, you know, during some of that time, some things happened to me. You know, I was exposed to a little bit of too much stuff, which kind of led me down a different path. You know, the one that was promised to me, the ones that the prophets had spoke over my life, you know, it kind of detoured me for about 17 years in the form of violent alcohol addiction. But, you know, now almost 5 years later, next month will be 5 years, you know, that I'll be sober, you know. That's so awesome. Now it's my mission to help other people, you know, in that seemingly hopeless state.
So you said when you grew up, pretty good child. Did you play any sports? Well, what was your childhood like, man? If you could take me back there.
Oh yeah, I was very talented wrestler. Matter of fact, back in like '96 in high school, I was ranked like number 3 in California. I played basketball all the time. You know, they thought that I might go pro there. But like I said, mom's worked a lot. She tried to, you know, do the best she could. So I had to take care of my younger siblings. So, you know, those was like dreams deferred, you know, so the high school scholarships to go to the private schools for free, things of that nature, you know, I had to kind of put aside, which then I didn't mind because, you know, now I see it's kind of a warped terminology or ideology that, you know, at 9 years old, you're the man of the house.
Yeah.
11 years old, you're the man of the house. I was the kid of the house, the oldest kid. But at that time, you know, I appreciated that role. And I tried to do my best to fulfill that and to make it as easy for my mother as possible because I knew how hard she was grinding. So, you know, I can't say that we had everything, but we definitely weren't lacking. You know, we definitely had a cool support system in regards to my grandmother and uncles and aunts that kind of picked up the slack for whatever my mother couldn't get. I knew how to sneak on the phone like Big Mom.
That's right.
Pro wings, man. I ain't wearing no pro wings, you know?
Yes, sir. So when as you're growing up, is Pops in the picture at all, or he's totally just out of the picture?
He's totally gone. Even to this day now, he still has about 104 years on his prison sentence.
Wow.
So he wasn't in my life. I might have seen him twice in my life. And actually my brother's father, he played a father figure to me, you know, kind of indirectly off and on throughout my childhood. But I was blessed to have a lot of coaches that really thought I was special, teachers that can see certain things in me. And I did have mentors along the way. So I knew right from wrong. I wasn't, you know, out there with this lifetime story where it was just latchkey kid. You know, I did have structure and I knew what right and wrong was. And I did have outlets to talk to, you know.
So let's talk a little bit about that, because you said you had a lot of teachers and coaches that really kind of filled in that gap. What was maybe a coach or a teacher that really, you know, like really helped you, that you can like a standout as far as impact on your life?
Oh man, there's two in particular.
Mhm.
There's one in my elementary school, Mr. Mohart. Now, Mr. Mohart, white dude, really tall, and I remember he loved the Lakers. He had like season tickets. He was a Laker fan. He was also my 3rd and 4th grade basketball coach, and I started to appreciate him more because there was an incident that happened in class. Now, mind you, I'm on his basketball team. I shoot a paper basketball and I miss. And he said something funny about it and people laughed. So he told me to pick it up. And my pride back then, you know, I had a rebellious spirit due to some things that happened to me while I was younger. I felt like no adults could control me because of what had happened. So I didn't pick the paper up. Needless to say, he sent me to the office and I got suspended. So they said, you know, you can't come back to class until we meet with your mother. Mom's is working. So she's like, well, you just gonna have to sit in the principal's office and do your work. So maybe by the second day, Mr. Mohart came and got me and he drove me to my mother's work. She owned her own beauty salon. So he brought me there and yeah, for real. Cuatla Pelo, she was good. She's still good to this day. And so he brought me there and I thought I was really going to get in trouble, but he spoke so well for me. And he was able to convey my feelings to my mother without me even telling him and kind of filling those gaps in. So then he became somebody that I was proud to listen to and take direction from. And I knew that his love for me wasn't artificial and it was really authentic. It was more than just basketball. He really wanted to see me grow. 10th grade, I had a wrestling coach, Coach Gibby. And this brother had lived the life already, you know, the penitentiary, the whole lifestyle, but he had gotten his life together. And he said, I reminded him a lot, you know, of him. I reminded him a lot of myself, a lot of him by my mannerisms, the temperament. But he did see some type of spark in me. So there were just certain lessons that he taught me about breathing, about not showing my emotions so much, about how to kind of control that and utilize that to be implemented in a different place. So actually, like I said, being ranked number 3 in Cali, I got home one day and mom's was like, yo, we moving back to LA. Because by this time I was living in Oxnard, California. And I'm like, what? Like, you know, I got all my friends. We moving back to South Central. Like, this ain't happening. This is the middle of CIF finals. And he even offered to open his home to me and let me stay, you know, with him. And, you know, he tried to convince my mother, you know, hey, this guy has a shot. You know, he's in 10th grade. Colleges are looking at him now. You should give him this opportunity. It can be a regret that he has for the rest of his life. But, you know, my mother, she loved us. She didn't really have that that understanding of potential opportunities and how rare these type of things are. She felt like these are my ducklings. They're going with me where I go. And so, you know, we moved back to LA. But I never forget either one of those cats.
Yeah. I think it's so important. You know, teachers don't get they just do, man. A lot of teachers are those other half parental guidances, you know, like, so it's so good that, like you said, even at you know, at your age, like, you still kind of remember that impact. It just shows a lot there. I know you were saying earlier it was a lot of partying going on, you know, in your house as you were growing up. And that led to some things, you know, the substance abuse and things like that. How did that even go about? You know, you're wrestling, you're active as a you know, you're very active as an athlete. Where do you even find time to start, you know, dibbling and dabbling in alcohol and things like that?
Okay. Well, at the age of about 4, you know, I began to be sexually abused by one of the women that would frequent the house. She was my babysitter. And so, you know, today, you know, you see guys say, man, you were lucky. She was doing this and teaching you how to do this. I was an innocent kid. So it warped my innocence. It warped the way that I respected authority and the people that I was supposed to trust the most. And the thing that kind of hurt or affected me, it had a major impact, was the emotional manipulation. Because, you know, once I got used to her coming over, I knew how to keep a secret. Once I would try to engage with her with a kiss or whatever she would allow me to do, she would push me away. once she saw that I was sad, then she'd say, "Oh no, come here." So there was this mental game, this emotional thing that she was playing with me, which, you know, at that young of an age was detrimental. You know, so I became codependent at a young age. I learned how to keep secrets. I got you know, exposed to pornography and just things that a kid that age should not have been exposed to. So I did have a lot of rebellious temperament. You know, my trust issues were crazy. And above all, I had no respect for intimacy. So as I got older, the anxiety and the anger and the things, they still loomed within me. So every time I would move forward, I would sabotage myself and I would, you know, kind of be bumped backwards in my progress. So I was doing music in high school. I had just got a record deal. This was 1997. I was just about to graduate. And so to celebrate, we all had a drink. Now I have been seeing drinking go on all through. There is a predisposition in my family because there are generations of people who drink heavily, almost borderline alcoholics for them. And once I took that initial drink, it seemed like all that anger, the anxiety, everything that had been pent up through all those years just subsided. Now, I didn't know what was happening then because, you know, now after therapy and being recovered, I understand what was going on. But it definitely alleviated all of that. So that feeling was great. I was loose. I was able to talk to people and, you know, I'm meeting the ladies. And I said, this is what I've been missing all my life, you know? So as time went on, that was my go-to, you know, and it kept working until it stopped working. You know, at some point, you know, I wanted to just leave it alone, but my body had been acclimated to the alcohol. So if I wake up, I might feel a little shaky, a little irritated. So that's just what I continue to do. And it wasn't really a problem for anyone because, like I said, there is some generational alcohol that went on. But it definitely was a problem that I was able to kind of keep secret for a while. So yeah, it wasn't to initially break down any pain or to hide anything. It actually came in a celebratory manner, but it ended up being, you know, one of my biggest downfalls. But now that I'm able to use it, you know, in the positive.
That's good, man. And it's funny, like you said, the I think by watching a lot of your material, it's very like eye-opening to what people considers like addiction to be and what they identify it to look like. And like how you just hit on all of these misnomers. Like you just said, like initially it wasn't about me wanting to, you know, hide any pain and things like that. It was more a celebration type of deal, right? And then it morphs into something much more. How old were you when you felt like, you know, it did get kind of out of control and you knew that you had a problem?
I was about 20 years old when I knew. So I had drank and you know, dibbled and dabbled, and I did have a couple blackouts previous, but 20 years old, by this time I moved to Georgia, met a young lady, moved to Georgia. I took the drinking with me. And once I had a son that was on the way, and she said, "Hey man, once he comes, we got to chill on the drink and, you know, we're going to just be focused." So I promised her that I would. But once he came, you know, I just learned how to hide it. You know, I worked for the airline. So if a plane was down, oh, guess what? I'm hitting that liquor kit. I'm taking that liquor kit home with me if the plane goes down. So I knew I had an issue, but I would never admit that to anyone. If someone says you drink too much, I would have an excuse. You know, I never took responsibility or sat back and say, you know what, maybe, you know, I do have a problem. So it was about 20 years old. When I was about 22, I went to jail for the first time in Georgia. And that let me know right then, okay, everything that I had seen happening in my family, the drinks, the arguments, the losing of jobs, or the going to jail, I was starting to take on those roles. But, you know, I stayed in denial still for at least another 15 years after that.
Really. So you end up going to jail around 22. Was that alcohol related or something just like that didn't have nothing to do with that?
It was unrelated at the same time. Well, indirectly, because I believe if I hadn't been drinking, I would have been home earlier. So if I would have been home earlier, then my wife wouldn't have been cussing me out and, You know what I'm saying? The police wouldn't have been called for the loud disturbance. So I definitely believe that it did play a role. Now, once I went to jail that time, it seemed almost automatic, systematic. Every time a brother picked up a drink, police popped up.
Really?
So I went to jail at least twice a year from age 22 to about 35. You know, I was what they say a frequent flyer, whether it was 2 weeks at a time or 3 months or maybe just 3 days to the drunk tank. It was once my name went in that system and those fingerprints, it was no way for me to escape it. It seemed at that point. Yeah.
So one thing that I like about what you do and your aspect of your content is like you bring a lot of comedy to it to make people become a little bit more comfortable with the things that you say and you bring out. Because I watch you on TikTok, like you literally exploded on there.
Sir.
So how would you say that you deal with that? Like when you're going into that comedy aspect, putting your mindset together to put out that content to make it easy, because I know it's a lot of people that's out there that actually see you, and I know they come to you and they jump in your inbox. Hey man, this used to happen to me. How are you getting past it? What was your steps? What did you do?
Well, 2016, I went into treatment. I was homeless. I had hit Skid Row a few times off and on, you know, not because I didn't have support. Remember, I said I had support, but just because I got tired of everybody telling me I had an issue, and I didn't want to admit I had an issue. So I was down to Skid Row to kind of hide out. So once I went into treatment, it was so crazy because the first night I'm gung-ho to get there. I'm happy. I go back to my room where it was 4 to a room. Once lights out, all the brothers start pulling out their alcohol, their drugs of choice. And I'm like, what? So this is what it's about. It's about learning how to be sneaky with it. And, you know, so by that point, I was still going to try to drink. But every time I drank while I was in treatment, which was twice, I got busted. So instead of me, everybody else was getting away with it. So instead of me looking at that like a sign from God saying, no, I want you to do this because I have a purpose for your life, I left treatment after about 30 days. Now, I left treatment and I came back about a week later because the streets whooped my tail. I went out there and got tore up, went on a bench, and they were graceful enough to let me come back. After that, I took it seriously. I admitted that I had an issue. I stopped blaming other people and I took responsibility. Now, the funny, you know, I use the comedic aspect of it because I'm naturally kind of like a class clown. I was in school and I just like to have fun. But we learn to laugh at the things that used to make us cry. You know, those tests become testimonies. So if I can smile about certain things and laugh about them now, it helps me know that I've kind of recovered from the situation. You know, it's really hard when you get into treatment and I'm trying to talk to someone like a new client and I try to expose them to my belief in God right away. Or I'm really serious about, you know, this is what you need to do. And, you know, it's too stiff. You know, before I stopped drinking, I thought, man, my life is going to be bland. It's going to be just a beige color. But now I understand how fulfilling and colorful my life is without drink. And I just want to kind of expose that to people as well, you know? Yeah.
That's good, man. One of the things that I wanted you to take some time on to illustrate, and I think it kind of goes back to that point I was making earlier. Like, what are some common, like maybe like 2 or 3, I don't know, I'm putting you on the spot, but maybe 2 or 3 common myths people think about alcoholism that you just know is just not true. You know, people say all the time.
Oh yeah, there's tons. One myth about alcoholism is people believe that a person is weak-minded because they can't stop drinking. Your mind is weak. It has not too much to do with the mind. These are spiritual maladies. Now, remember, I told you I had dealt with, you know, molestation as a child and codependency issues and being used emotionally, not to mention all of violence and everything else that I've seen in the household growing up. So these are emotional traumas, spiritual maladies that I planted or was planted inside of me as a child. So as I grew older, they held roots. So without real direction of how to fix those things, we self-medicate. You know, you have a person that has mental disorders, but they don't like the way the medication feels, so they self-medicate. So it's not really about a mental thing. At some point, you got to have a mindset to say, hey, I really want to change. But it's all spiritualities. I say another myth is people think that alcoholics are hobos on the ground, homeless, don't have no money, they stink, and they walk around with a cart. Not true. Doctors, lawyers, police officers, you know, alcohol does not have a preference. You know, there are a lot of people that have dealt with trauma, and that's the way that they use to medicate. And another thing I believe is people think that alcoholics can't recover or can't be recovered. They feel like if I'm an alcoholic now, I'm going to be an alcoholic forever. You know what I'm saying? And that's just not the case. So I also felt that way. I tried to commit suicide in 2013 because I felt like that was the only way I was going to be able to stop myself from drinking. So I think those are kind of the three myths. It's not a mind thing. You know, it doesn't have to last forever. You know, everybody can get help. And whatever, I forgot the third one, but yeah, there's many of them. There's tons of myths that you will hear. Oh, that a person has to be bummy and hobo.
Yeah.
Just simply not true.
Yeah, thank you for saying that, man, because I those are definitely things that you hear all the time when it's related to somebody, you know, going through the substance abuse, going through alcoholism, whatever that might be. I know that you're an artist as well. You know, you do some music from time to time. Where did that come along? Was this like an outlet as you were starting to just clean yourself up? Has music always been a part of your background? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I've loved music forever, forever. Like I said, in '97, I got signed to a label. It didn't work out, and then I got signed independently, like right after that. So I felt like, man, this is it. You know, I already had like a little cash, got the advance. I thought that's what was going to happen. My music was always clean then. You know, I didn't curse too much, but I did have like, you know, kind of explicit subject matter. But, you know, over time, you know, alcohol takes you away from all that. You know, it kind of pushes you to the side. I lost my drive, my passion for life, the things that I was really interested in. I stopped doing. I became isolated. So music just sat on the back burner for a long time. You know, it was like dream deferred again. So once I got sober, the creativity started to come back again. But this time, you know, I feel like music has to come from the heart. It has to come from a real place. So that's why I put my testimonies and my experiences into the music now. You know, it's a different purpose now, though. It's not for fame or, you know, to make a whole lot of money. It's just part of what I consider my ministry. You know what I'm saying? It's just all part of my calling, you know?
Yeah. And music is one of those things, man. What were you saying? I'm sorry.
My bad. Just to glorify God and to help people stay sober. That's all. Yeah.
Yeah. So like music is one of those things. Like I think you use a lot of. It's like Dave Chappelle. Like I don't know if you remember, like back in the day when he was really at his all-time high with the Chappelle Show, he was able to articulate things through comedy that I feel like would be very, very difficult to just talk about and be very heavy. So I want to like you're a genius in your own right with being able to talk about and use a lot of these things to where you're right. If you just came out and said, hey, bro, you're drunk, you need to clean up. That might not be received well, you know, pointing the finger and making people feel ashamed and guilty. But like, you know, like, but when you can kind of filter it through music, you know, and let people kind of go through their own process, when you can do it through comedy and do that, they let people kind of see themselves through a different lens, but it's not so heavy. Like, man, I applaud you on that because that's not very easy to do, but it's definitely a technique that I've seen so many times work. So that's awesome, bro.
Word, I appreciate that. One thing I've learned from you brothers and the people in the tribe is that, you know, you have to connect before you can correct. You know, so to come in and wagging the finger and saying, hey, you know, you got to get it together. I need to make a connection and figure out what's going on with the person, because drinking is just a symptom of something deeper.
Yeah.
So, we all know that we're alcoholics, the people that are affected. So let's just figure out what happened, what took place, and let's rectify those situations or trying to find solutions. So yeah, that's what it's all about.
That's good, man. Where can people find your music? Is it like, do you keep it like on your website? Is it on like the regular type of
Yeah,
platforms or what?
I do. I dropped something last year just to kind of learn how the system works. It's called Recovery Music, the demo. That's
Okay.
everywhere music is, from Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, stuff like that. Image, I go by Image, and it's called Recovery Music. But, really right now, I'm just kind of learning who I am in the music. I'm just learning who I am, and it's a good way for me to have an outlet. I have a sponsor, and with all of that's been going on with the situation that's being locked in, I've had enough time to kind of just practice with some stuff, learn some new styles, and really dig into who I am as a person. So, like I said, it's not really to blow anymore. It's kind of like somebody who really loves to paint, and they might have canvases at home in their own shop. But eventually, I definitely want to share with as many people as possible just to help them understand that they're not alone.
That's good. That's good. That's good. Now you do a lot of coaching nowadays, man. Like where did that come from? Did you always just have that in you to want to just help other people in that way, especially when it specifically comes from, the substance abuse and that type of field?
I believe so, man. Like, no lie, when I was in elementary school, all of my friends had disabilities. Whether like little braces on their leg, or maybe my friend, I won't say his name, his arm was messed up, or like really obese, can't get around, sleep apnea at a young, like all the outsiders, the people that and for some reason I always slid through. I guess because I was good at basketball, I always had friends, but those were the ones that I always depended on and I like to hang with on the weekends. In regards to like counseling now in the whole drug and alcohol, it happened once I was in treatment, because I saw how, there are a lot of people that didn't get educated, that lived on the streets all their life, or, never learned how to kind of, convey how they feel. And so I saw the mistreatment from some of the counselors, like cutting them short and really not listening to what they were saying. So I kind of became a voice for some of those people. And because I took treatment seriously and I was working with a sponsor and I was really dedicated to the process, I started to learn a lot of tools that I guess it just showed, you don't have to tell a person what you're doing. They can see it if you're really doing it. And so, a lot of the clients will come to me and say, hey man, do you have a minute, Leon? Can I talk to you? Can I get some advice? And so that's when I knew that counseling was my calling. So after being sober for about 1.5 years, I got registered with the state of California to be a drug and alcohol counselor. I started working outpatient at an outpatient facility for like 2 years before I went to a residential facility and started working with the residential and the detox. Yeah,
that's awesome, man. And how does that work? Like how do you feel like it's impacted your journey, being able to actually get involved with counseling and helping others?
Oh man, it's a constant reminder. If it's not for the grace of God, there go I.
That's
It
right.
doesn't give me that time to get uppity and think, oh, well, I got almost 5 years now and I'm different from you with 5 days. We are all in the same boat. We have 24 hours in a day. There are people that I see that get out of treatment and are doing so well. And then I see them back in my office again. So it just lets me know, if I don't stay connected, if I don't continue to unify myself with like-minded people, then, it can happen to me too. That's why, let me just say this really quick. That's why it's such a blessing to know you brothers and people like you, because it keeps me accountable. Now, it might not be just strictly drugs and alcohol, but I do know that, something that Sean, that you told me before, the consistency, to be consistent, even when you don't want to, you have to be consistent. There was times that I had a certain mindset and I was kind of scared or nervous to do certain things. And Brother King said, look, man, you got to just jump out there and do it.
Yes.
So those things right there helped me stay accountable. And even though it's not directly related to drugs and alcohol, it's still a constant reminder to, that there are other people out there that might not be dependent on me, but that's watching me, and the same way I don't want to let them down, I don't want to let brothers like you down either, or myself.
That's right. That's right. Super, super important, man. And I think that's what allows many of us to stay consistent. Like, people want to know that the magic pill is when you know that other people are counting on you and you're connected with that work and with those lives, and knowing that God is using you not just for your benefit and for your family, but for so many other lives out there, man. I think that's a great point. As far as the counseling, as far as people that might need help with that type of things, like, what are you doing right now? What are some projects that you're working out? How can people reach out and tap into some of those things if they do need help?
I think right now the best way would be maybe through my Instagram or my Facebook. I always accept DMs right now. I just started at a humbling beginning of my own, website, which is, the Recovered LLC. And it's just about people who have recovered, you know what I'm saying? And it's not just drugs and alcohol. If you had a bad marriage and you were sad and now you can smile every day, you recovered. You were homeless and now you got a roof over your head. Maybe you had suicidal tendencies or thoughts, and now you have a clear mind and you no longer need that. You recovered from that. You might have went bankrupt and now you're okay. So just people who have overcome, and have a story and a testimony. So right now the website is being put together. Brother Jason, matter of fact, helped me put some touches on it that somebody I paid couldn't even get done, and he whipped it up like that for me, like boo boo. Yeah, so we're on the final touches with that. Soon I have a book that is coming out, that just to help. It's like a workbook to help people, because I believe you can get sober in 30 days. I believe that, and it's a process. It's a process. The number one step is to admit that there is an issue. And so once we can admit that there is an issue, there's some things to work with. And fortunately for me, I've been able to learn some techniques, and not just through my experience, but through schooling, to kind of work through these steps. And if these steps are followed, people have it's an exponentially high chance that you can stay sober as long as you stay connected. So right now at Sober Coach Leon on Instagram and Leon Richard or Sober Coach Leon on Facebook. But I am definitely getting a website together. And that's something that the pandemic has helped me with. I was at work. I'm working detox and residential. People are already coming in, coughing, temperatures. I have a 1-year-old daughter. I'm like, yo, and I knew that I wanted to start my own business and do it virtually. I can either go to a brick and mortar every day and work for someone else and get paid what they ask or what they pay me, or I can start my own, do it virtually and talk to people in New York. Like right now I have 2 clients that's in Florida. I have to get up at 3 a.m. because of the time difference, but at least it's for me. So it's starting to grow, and these things would have never happened if I hadn't been in this situation where, when you're at a window and it's a fire and you like, man, I'm high up, but if I don't jump, I'm about to burn, and you just got to jump in, and it's been okay. So I definitely will continue to kind of put the news out there as the things progress. But right now, any DMs, if anybody needs any help, if there's something that I can do, I have a lot of resources that I may be able to point people in the right direction as well.
Wow. Yeah, man. It's so funny. Like, COVID has made so many people, I know it's the cliche word, but pivot or just look at stuff from a different lens, things that were there all the time. Like nobody was stopping us from hopping on Zooms and doing all of these type of things. But just the climate of what it has, man. I believe that people are going to come out with stronger and healthier businesses after this is all over. Now it's going to shake us up. We ain't done with what it's still some windfall for sure. But I think people are going to strategize, and they're going to be using a more creative mindset that they haven't had to use in so long. Like you said, many of us just kind of got stuck into how we were doing it, and same old every single day. And COVID-19 has really challenged us to look at our business and say, like, if this was to happen, if they were to close the doors and I couldn't take any clients in, like what other ways could I be serving people? Because that's ultimately what it's about, whether it's COVID-19 or not. Like there are still people out there that are hurting and that need help and that need us to be able to think a little bit more creative than maybe what we were thinking before. So I'm very happy and encouraged to hear like that industry, you know, counseling and things like that really take that turn, because now you guys can help more people. And that's always a positive thing. You know, like I think we got on the one-to-one thing, but now you can do the one-to-many and yes, impact so many more people.
Absolutely correct. And you know, they say when preparation meets opportunity, I look back and say, wow, when I first talked to my wife and we talked about this online business and to do it virtually, we didn't jump on it right away. But once this COVID hit, all of the people that were going to certain AA meetings, NA meetings, they had nowhere to go. You know, alumni that used to come into the facility and give back to they had nowhere to go. So the rate of relapses went through the roof. People were relapsing left and right. They were day drinking by this time. You know, their jobs had stopped, so they had nothing. And so it was good that it happened, because I believe if you don't move, God will make you move. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna get your attention whether you're standing up or laying down. So it's about what do you want to do. And so it was just a blessing that we were able to kind of get some things in motion. Another thing I've learned from you brothers as well is like the whole infrastructure. You know, there's certain things like beta testing, and you know, there's a process to all this. So I haven't just jumped out and just tell everybody, hey, I'm a counselor. Hey, I can help everybody. You know, I need the curriculum to be correct, to be proven, to get some of those receipts that you guys talk about, to kind of get that name and that what Brother Ben say, for people to have that trust in what you've given them, you know. And so that's the process I am at now. But fortunately for me, this industry is a lot of word of mouth. So there are people that says, man, I know this counselor, you should call and you can talk to him. And so, and that's how, you know, I've been blessed enough to kind of keep a roof over our head and keep things pushing even through COVID.
Yeah, that's great. I would like to say, like, one of the best things that I love about you, that when we first got on the call, you were like, okay, I got a website, I'm putting out content, and you were like, okay, let me get this structure. What do I need to do? And you just said the exact thing, like, go out there. And I said, go out there and just do it. And as I watch you progress, I saw you first start off on Facebook, then you went to Instagram, then you went to TikTok. And then when you stayed on TikTok for a while, because I saw a flux come to you. But I tell people all the time, like, okay, we're in this pandemic. Don't look at this pandemic as something that's not God sent, because whatever he sends to you is for a purpose. I look at it like he sent this to our people to get us out of that slump and that cloudy mindset that we're in, because we're all in a system of inebriation. So when we get into digital real estate, we learn that our mindset really control every single function that we do.
There you go. So
I was like, looking at this stimulus check, I told him, listen at it. I say, it's a stimulus check. It's checking how you're being stimulated. What are you going to do with that money? Are you going to invest it? Or are you going to go out and buy all type of stuff that you know you don't need? Like my biggest thing, I look back and I say, it's time for people to really sit back and make tangible decisions. Start thinking. Don't just have a thought.
That's right.
Ooh, hey, I like that. I like that.
That's right.
I like
That's
that.
Right.
You brothers taught me how important it was to invest in myself.
That's it.
You know, now if I can go and invest in somebody else, and if somebody is selling shirts or they have a restaurant and they're taking donations to help get some plates or whatever, if I'll donate to them and support, why not support myself in my own dreams? And I promise you, seeing you brothers do that and invest in yourselves and seeing the growth and also seeing how reliable you all have been and consistent has, you know, really been a great motivation for me as well to kind of, you know, to invest in myself, to not be scared to drop 400 or 500, you know, even if I don't see that until later on down the line. You know what I'm saying? What they say, positive income over a positive impact over passive income.
Passive impact over passive income.
Yeah, I got tongue tied. You know, I get tongue tied. Yeah, but it's that statement is true. You know, invest, plant the seeds, do the work that needs to be done, and things will grow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're exactly right, Coach Leon. Like, and why a lot of people don't do that is that they don't have confidence in themselves. Ultimately, you know what I mean? Like, that's what it is. Like, we have more confidence in a stock, we have more confidence in a business that we have no idea, an investment vehicle, a real estate, a quick get rich quick scheme. But when it really comes down to it, I can't put no money on myself because I don't believe in myself. So you got to deal with that first and foremost, because all of the other things are always going to be there. But if I lack self-confidence and belief in myself that I can get the job done, that I can count on myself, no matter what we invest in outwardly, it's always going to come back to work itself out, right? Like, so I always tell people, like, man, what should I invest in? Like, invest in you. Invest in your mind, invest in your skill set, invest in your confidence, get some counseling, get over some of that trauma, you know, then we can start worrying about the Bitcoin and all of these other plays that we talk about. But when you hear people and they're talking about investments, most of the time, it's always in these outwardly investments that we know. I don't know if y'all know, but I know plenty of people that's rich. I know plenty of women that's very pretty. I know all kind of different things, but because they didn't really make the investments of time, resources, and whatever else that they needed, they're still really struggling. They're still really like, it might look like on the outside that, like you said, doctors, lawyers, all of these people dealing with all of these internal structures, stresses and things like that. So I always tell people, man, I got a lot of young people that I help mentor and things like that. Man, invest in yourself. What is your dream? What do you want to get good at? Because that type of confidence and being able to have that as your foundation, that takes you into any sector. You can't go wrong. You know?
Absolutely. You're absolutely right about that. You know, Black people are some of the most inventive, creative people in the world. And so if I've learned through this time and through you brothers, that if there is a skill that you have and this innate ability, you can market it. Other people are going to need to know that skill. If I play video games and I know how to get off level 1 of a certain video game, I can make a tutorial about it and sell it for 99 cents and show all the people how to get off level 1. You know, I can't think in my head, like you said, mindset. Oh, everybody know how to get off level 1. No, they don't. Not everybody knows. You see, I didn't know how to download Chrome. Somebody I would have paid for somebody to show me how to download this Chrome. You know, I was getting bullets over here. So there's always something that could be packaged and put together if, like you said, if people believe in themselves. You know?
That's so funny that you said that about like technology, because me and Sean were just talking about it, and I said, and I had just said we got to get out of that 99 and 2000 technology. It's 2020, and we as a people are we're backed up with technology. Like, we're really far behind. Like, if I would say to give people the understanding of wealth, of a wealth standard, you have to have $10 million to even be considered wealthy. Not a million, 10 million. Because your mindset is, if I got a meal, I'm doing good. No, you're not. We're at a standard of capitalism. But we don't understand how to capitalize, or in other words, we don't have the capital to capitalize. We just have the ism, and that's like we just sitting there. I'm like, okay, we have to grow. So this is why I look at all of this stuff with tech, and when you say something about a website, I get tickled when I hear something about websites, because we always we looking for stuff. Like, okay, I need this, I need that. No, you just need to laser in, have someone somewhere where somebody can go and contact you and get your information. And that is it. Market till you can't stop. Just
There you
keep
go.
going,
There you
because
go.
you're gonna get there. And we
Mhm.
offering that help to people. We always offer that help. And
Mhm.
that's a key thing, man. Like your realization and the way that you powerfully put everything together. I love it. I love it. It's,
I
Likewise.
it's
appreciate it. Yeah, I
Likewise,
appreciate
man.
it.
All right, Coach, what else you got for us, man? Where can people find you? Where can they follow you? I know you're on TikTok and IG. Like, where you want people to go follow you after
Yeah.
this, man?
Yeah, TikTok is Sober Coach Leon. You know, that was kind of like crazy. I never knew like it would blow up. I had like one of my videos do like 3 million views and a couple more go over 1 million views. You know, it almost scared me when I opened it up and I saw 2,000 new followers. I thought somebody had put a naked tape of me up or something. I didn't know what happened, you know, for that kind of feedback. But the same with Facebook, Sober Coach Leon, and Instagram, Sober Coach Leon. There'll be more things coming later. The whole Recovered brand, because you know, truth be told, in some of these rooms and talking about alcoholism, they don't like the word recovered. You know, they're scared. They say, "Oh, well, you can go back and drink again." I didn't say I was cured with the ED. I said I recovered. I no longer need alcohol to supplement for bad feelings or to aid me in happy feeling, or you know, I don't think of suicide. So I've recovered from a seemingly hopeless state of mind and body. And so that will be coming. And it's not just like I said, drugs and alcohol, which alcohol is a drug too, just whatever. We all have testimonies and we've overcame stuff or we've recovered from stuff. So that'll be coming soon. But a wise man, Brother Sean, once said, man, t-shirts and all that could wait, brother. So we gonna wait on that. But I definitely still you know, promote, because I get that from you guys too a lot.
Yes, sir.
You know, I'm my own walking billboard, so I promote just to raise the questions of what exactly that is, or you know.
That's
But yeah,
what's up,
so
man.
right now, like I said, I'm just super excited. It's been a really good start to 2021. I know it doesn't. I hope this doesn't come across as egotistic, but just since January 1st to this month, you know, me and the wife have been able to accrue more income than I did in 2 years together. You know, so when I say being blessed, and it's all coming from, you know, the field of counseling and some extra little you know, incentives that came in, you know, due to that. So it's just been such a blessing. But it definitely would not have happened if I didn't have mentorship from you good brothers, to be able to kind of put that pride aside and really step out on faith and just do it. You know, like there is no shortcuts to this. Everybody has to go through this process. And I definitely would not have been able to kind of push forward if I didn't have you brothers, you know, as my mentors. Because once upon a time, I didn't came to both of you guys. Sometimes, you know what I'm saying? So I definitely appreciate that, for real, like real talk.
Man. And it's great, man, to see your journey. You know, you are one of those guys that when I met, I was like, I told Jay, I said, bro, got something. I said, like from the first time I ever really talked to you, I heard about your mission. You know, I had my stint with alcohol, so that kind of related to me for as far as that. And I was just like, man, brother's really articulate. He has a vision. I think he's just kind of got the cold feet in, you know, as far as putting his content out and stuff like that. But then to see, you know, a month or so went by and then you just killed it on TikTok, and just to continue to see you being consistent, you know, and like, you know, what you're saying right now with the blessings that you've been seeing over the last few months is something about walking in your purpose. You know what I mean? And that's why I tell everybody, tap into that. Like the money gonna be there. There's gonna be a bunch of opportunities, but what do you really believe? Like, you know, like if it wasn't a capitalistic society, like what would you just be doing? Right? Like who would you be helping? Who would you be serving? So I think that's a testimony in itself to see, like when you align yourself with a greater purpose, just how everything started working itself out. Like who would imagine that counseling would be the thing that, you know what I mean, would be the thing that would help you like this and take off.
You know, all my years on Skid Row is helping other people, and I'm able to support my family. You know what I'm saying? And you're absolutely right about that. Finding something that you love to do that is innate and natural, and move forward with it. But without that belief, it won't happen. You hit the nail on the head, Brother Sean. Without that belief in yourself, You know, a person will believe everything negative a person says about them, but won't believe that one positive thing. If I say you can do it, they don't believe it. But if I say something negative, they take it, hold on, and meditate on it. So I'm super, super happy that you brothers are out there encouraging others and giving them the tools that they need to kind of break those chains and kind of, you know, get to that freedom. You definitely helped me, and I'm definitely going to need y'all in the future too. Because
yes, sir.
I help on. I ain't going to say it right here, but I'm definitely going to be hitting you guys up soon because I definitely need to your assistance to move into this next level.
Yes, sir. Well, we appreciate you making some time for us, man, out of your busy schedule. Thank you for coming on to the podcast, brother. And we're gonna definitely tap back in with you. But you take care. All right.
All right, my brothers.
Peace. All right, Jason. Another episode. Man. We back, y'all. We back. We had to take a little stint for a little while. Had to get our things together. It's been a very busy beginning of this year. But you guys can be, we'll be here for y'all weekly now, bringing y'all different, you know, entrepreneurs with amazing stories to just inspire us all. But yeah, I'm Sean. That's my brother Jason, and we are the Boo Brother Podcast.
Hey, right, and y'all can stop DMing me about the show coming back. It's back. It's back. It's back.
All right, peace, y'all.